Thank you so much, Prabhu. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnana Tivrandasya Jnana Jalashalakaya Chakshurunlimitam Mena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manovishnam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगे राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि सॉरी वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यो च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले नामिने नमः देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे हरे. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Jai Shri Prabhupada. I think we continue from here. Haribol. Hayagriv Das. As examples of the denial of the will to live, Schopenhauer cites the religious suicides under the wheels of the Jagannath carts and the ritual of sati. Oh, we read this. Oh, let's read this. We didn't read this one. These are not suicides. These are acts based on the understanding that because we are getting different types of bodies, we are suffering a variety of miseries. When one voluntarily accepts death in these ways, he thinks of his spiritual life while dying, and he attains it. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam yadyante kalevaram tam tam mevaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavita. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits the body, that state he will attain without fail. Bhagavad Gita 8.6. Therefore, King Kulashekara prayed that Krishna take him while he was in good health and remembering Krishna because he feared forgetting Krishna when dying in a diseased condition. Often when death comes, a person is in coma, his bodily functions are impeded, he dreams in various ways, and so on. Therefore, an intelligent man sometimes thinks that it would be more desirable to meet death in sound health, so that he can think of his next life and go back to Godhead. If a person thinks of Lord Jagannath while dying, he goes back to Lord Jagannath. That is not suicide, but the voluntary acceptance of death so that one can immediately transfer to the spiritual world. Hare Krishna, Jnani Prabhu, and Devarsh Prabhu, Dandat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please accept my obeisance.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please accept my
Hare Krishna,
obeisance.
everyone. Dandavat Pranam. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Haribol. Oh, this is interesting. Last time we watched the video of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu jumping in ocean, and now Prabhupada is talking about it. Hagriv Das. What of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu throwing himself in the ocean? Srila Prabhupada. No, that was different. That was an act of ecstasy. Shyama Sundar. Schopenhauer noted that the will forces a person to live even when he has nothing to live for. It impels him to suffer day after day. He compares it to the alms which a beggar receives one day just so he can live in hunger the next day. All this misery and frustration are not partaken by a few men, but by all. Srila Prabhupada, that is certainly a good point, but why does the individual hanker after something when he is being frustrated? The point is that there is a goal, and the individual is hankering after that goal. In order to understand what the goal actually is, we should approach a spiritual master. I agree with that. According to Schopenhauer, the man of knowledge is not perturbed in any condition. Such a man would regard death as a false illusion, he writes. An impudent specter which frightens the weak, but has no power over him who knows that he is himself the will of which the whole world is the What is he saying? An impudent specter which frightens the weak, but has no power over him who knows that he is himself the will of which the whole world is the objectification or copy, and that therefore he is always certain of life and also of the present. Yeah, this is the truth. Srila Prabhupada, this is contradictory. On the other, see how fast Prabhupada understood it. I didn't get what he is saying. An impudent specter which frightens the weak, but has no power over him who knows. What is specter? Oh,
I
it's like
think this means spectator.
here it said like it says it means like a ghost. Okay, let's see what Prabhupada says.
Ghost makes more sense, which frightens the weak but has no power.
Oh, yes, Prabhu. Yeah, yes. So the ghost can frighten the weak-minded, but the ghost doesn't have power over him. That he is himself the will of which the whole world is the objectification. Yeah, so it something like that. Srila Prabhupada, this is contradictory. On the other side, there is a desire for the certainty of life, and on the other side, and on the other, he says that nirvana is the only answer. Which does he want? He's simply trying to adjust things. He cannot understand the philosophy behind purification of the will. Agree does. One of the first major Western philosophers to have read Bhagavad Gita, Schopenhauer feels that it was Krishna's assurance of immortality that brought Arjuna to fight. So he's a Gita commentator. Let's see.
Yes, but actually, he gave a very good comment of Srila Prabhupada commentary of Bhagavad Gita as it is.
Oh, he did?
Yes, he gave very good comment about the
Yes.
Bhagavad Gita as it is. So I think that he changed his mind after reading Srila Prabhupada. Schopenhauer is well known about that because
I didn't know.
yes, I have some quote that Bhaktajad share with me, and this is
Yes.
I saw this. Schopenhauer was praising the Bhagavad Gita as it is by Prabhupada. Yes.
So he feels that it was Krishna's assurance of immortality that brought Arjuna to fight. Srila Prabhupada, yes, but what is Schopenhauer's philosophy of the immortal living being? He does not understand that just as the living entity is immortal, his will is also immortal. If the soul is immortal, how can his will be stopped? How is nirvana possible? I agree. He offers no solution other than the suppression of the will. Srila Prabhupada, but that is not possible. He must change the quality of his willing in order to be happy. That is the process of bhakti. Sarvapadi vinirmuktam tatparatvena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhaktiruchyate. Bhakti or devotional service means engaging all our senses in the service of the Lord, the master of all the senses. When the spirit soul renders service unto the Supreme, there are two side effects. He is freed from all material designations, and simply by being employed in the service of the Lord, his senses are purified. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1112. 1112. Ooh. Two side effects. He's freed from all material designations and his senses are purified. Bhakti is the purification process. Ravanam Kirtanam Vishnu. Chanting and hearing the pastimes of the Lord will purify us. Schopenhauer misses the point of Bhagavad Gita. Although he accepts the fact that life is eternal, he thinks that its purpose is nirvana. Unfortunately, he does not know what real nirvana is. Nirvana means putting an end to the whimsical will and coming to the platform of willing in Krishna consciousness. Schopenhauer was impressed that the religion of India has endured for more than 4,000 years. He writes that such a religion cannot be arbitrarily invented superstition, but must have its foundation in the nature of man. Srila Prabhupada. Within the Vedic religion, there are two basic sects, Mayavadi and Vaishnava. Both acknowledge the fact that the material world is flickering and transient, and that there is another life in the spiritual world. For the Mayavadis, spiritual life means merging into the Brahman effulgence, and for the Vaishnava, it means associating personally with God in his abode, Goloka Vrindavan, Vaikuntha. Both envision a spiritual life attainable after death. I agree with that. Schopenhauer considered Indian religion to be based on the denial of the will. Yes, denial of the will for material happiness, but it is not the will itself that is denied. Just 10 minutes ago, someone commented this on YouTube comments. He was talking about desire, and he was arguing with the post that someone had made on the ISKM TV. He was saying that you cannot remove desire. And
actually, Prabhu, it is that guy was correct. We read it before that wheel cannot be destroyed because the wheel is a like a nature of the soul. We can only change our name from. So that was, it is actually instead of desire, it should be like greed. Isn't like anger, lust, and greed. They are the greed. I think they made a mistake.
It's not a mistake. What was the post?
The post was that desire, lust, and anger are three, something like that. Because I also saw that.
I only saw the comment, but I didn't see the post.
No, I did see the post.
Is it in the community?
Because in this book previously we read that oh yeah, three enemies.
Yeah, but it's Prabhupada's desire. It's Prabhupada's purport. So how can they argue? Of course, they wouldn't post anything that is their own words. They just put the purport. And always people come arguing with the purport. Here also, it's clear that Prabhupada is meaning the material desire. Why would someone think that the spiritual desire is the same thing? That would be like trying to make a problem out of nothing. Because it's really clear that when the desire is mentioned here, it's not the same as desire to going back to Godhead. This is material desire. The picture is also clear. Does this look like desire to going back to Godhead?
No.
They always want to argue with something. They find some, little word, and then they make a big, oh, this is wrong, this is that. And just like
what the comment
said
said,
yesterday, what Prahlad Prabhu said yesterday, that you gotta see the conclusion of the whole thing, and according to that, you need to see it. Yes, Jenny Prabhu, sorry for interrupting.
Oh, no, it's okay. I didn't understand what the comment said about this
You
post.
can just find the comment. Yeah, he's putting that Bhagavad Gita verse
desire anywhere, he says. But he does not understand that the desire and greed, material desire and greed are the same thing. They go together. This is same as if we say that, oh, Maya is bad, and then someone comes to say to us, no, Yoga Maya is really good. Like we didn't mean the Yoga Maya, we meant the Mahamaya. It's the same thing. Deliberately misunderstanding the thing just to come and argue. I'm sure he knew what we meant, and still he wanted to say something. Oh, I gave this answer that yes, when Prabhupada speaks about
Yeah.
this context, it means material desire to gratify one's own senses. So this answer is really nice to this. It's the same explanation. Denial of the will for material happiness, but it is not the will itself that is denied. While denying the will for material happiness, we must assert the will for spiritual happiness. When denying one thing, we must accept something else. No one can remain in neutral position. Param drishtva nivartate. Yes, this is the no one can be without desire or will.
Yes, I was about to think about this verse because I'm learning this verse, this shloka now, and this is the shloka that you can use for that.
Yes, Prabhu.
This is very. This is on point. This shloka is for this guy, this person.
Yes, Prabhu.
Because Krishna is talking about desire actually.
Vishaya vinivartante niraharyasya dehina rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. When the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense object remains, but ceasing such engagement, experiencing higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. Yes, Prabhu. So when we say you gotta quit your desires, it's mean this, by engaging, experiencing a higher taste.
Yes, Prabhu.
Desire.
Actually, we cannot cease from, sense enjoyment. We cannot. It says we cannot be restrained from sense enjoyment like this. We should experience higher taste, and then we can naturally become detached from those.
Yes.
But we need to experience the higher taste first by chanting or devotional activities.
Yes, Prabhu. And when Krishna's senses are satisfied, then our senses are satisfied. So that should be our sense gratification to satisfy Krishna's senses.
Yes. Just like the verse above, you read it, the 112. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. This is this verse. Yes, it's a very good verse. I should note that. Prabhupada always quote that. So Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Okay. Thank you.
Oh, is it this?
Yeah.
It's also DC Madhya 119, 170.
Okay.
Do I have it? 19, let's see, 19, 170. Oh, I don't have it also.
That's probably, let me screenshot it. Yeah. Thank you, Babu.
Well, suddenly some video came, but what's going on? Where were we? It was about will. For Schopenhauer, there are, I think it's here. Yeah. There are three means of salvation: aesthetic, ethical, and religious. Through aesthetic salvation, contemplation of the Platonic ideals, through poetry, music, and art, we are transported above passion, desire, and willing. Srila Prabhupada, this is nothing new. It is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, and the students of this Krishna consciousness movement abandoned their abominable living habits because they received a better life with superior thoughts, philosophy, food, song, poetry, and art. When the mind is filled with Krishna, there is no chance in its engaging in the contemplation of nonsense. Contemplation of nonsense, Prabhupada. Shava Sundar. Aesthetic salvation is a temporary experience. When we look at the beautiful painting, for instance, we momentarily transcend the lower levels of consciousness and become desireless. Yes, we admit that this may be the case, but we wish to remain in that higher consciousness continually, not momentarily. This is possible through practice. By practice, a child learns to read and write and thus becomes educated. It is not a momentary thing. If we practice Krishna consciousness daily, lower consciousness will automatically vanish. Sri Vigrahara Dana Nityanana Sringaratan Mandira Marjanado Kurvashtakam number 3. The spiritual master engages his disciples in the temple worship of the Lord. You cannot derive benefit from worshipping the deities unless the aesthetic sense is applied with reverence and respect. Oh, this is interesting point. If one is just
Yes,
a bell ringer, if one is just a bell ringer, he just rings the bell and he doesn't have any like Prabhupada says, reverence and respect, then there is no
it's no
benefit.
use.
There needs to be
There's
some...
no use to be like that.
Yes,
We
Prabhu.
should have reverence and respect.
Yes, Prabhu.
And this is for humility, actually. This will bring humility.
Yes, Prabhu.
So deity worship is very important.
Yes, Prabhu. Definitely.
Because
otherwise we don't have like contact with Krishna. We cannot do like service directly. So
but I read that this is for regulation also, for regulate our life.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, it's the main point, regulation. Because the pure devotee doesn't really have to do with some deity. Of course, they do for our benefit, for showing us example, but yeah, we have to regulate our senses and everything, so that's for us.
Yes.
Nimanita
It's
Prabhu, this is best for... He also always says that if you want to have a regular schedule and be steady, this deity worship, he says on his own experience that he started, then he became more steady.
Yes, Prabhu. This is why Prabhupada restored this deity worship.
Yes.
At home, and because he said that yes, you should be regulated. Everyone should have these schedules. Like it's very regulated. Actually, deity worship, very very regulated.
Yes, Prabhu.
Your whole day is about Krishna.
Yeah. When one installs the deities, he cannot really stop it also, so he has to keep going.
Yes, that's the point.
Same with prasadam cooking also. Even if one offers to the pictures, when one starts it, he needs to continue, because even if he himself wants to take some food stuff, he has to do that service, and that otherwise how can he eat himself?
Yes, it's true. And even for prasad, there is some regulation also.
Yes, Prabhu.
So everything that you engage for Rishikesha, you need to regulate your life first.
Yes, Prabhu. Prabhu, would you like to continue from here?
Yes, I can, because after I will go, I have some video to record for Bhaktachat, because we want to. Yes. So according to ethical salvation, we should attempt to satisfy the will. When it is satisfied, no new desire can arise. This brings permanent happiness. Apart from the individual will, there is the supreme will. If we satisfy the supreme will, we are happy. Yasya prasadam bhagavat prasadu Shri Guru Ashtaka 8. So our philosophy is that by satisfying the spiritual master, the representative of God, we satisfy the supreme will. It is not our will that is to be satisfied, but the will of God. Shamasundar does. By religion, by religious salvation, the most effective type of salvation, the will is denied through asceticism. In this way, Schopenhauer believed that we could attain the state of nirvana, nothingness. Such people claim that where there is no longer any sense of pleasure and pain, there is no world. The fact is, there are three stages: waking, sleeping, and total unconsciousness. In all three stages, the will is there. A person can emerge from a state of total unconsciousness and immediately remember his waking stage and his dreams. Therefore, the will is there. The will cannot be killed because it is the function of the soul. Since the soul is eternal, willing is also eternal. The will may be suppressed for some times, or however, for instance, after death, when a living entity enters a womb, he spends the next 9 months developing his next body, and there is a suspension of the will. However, according to your will, you develop a certain type of body when you emerge from your mother's womb. The willing process resumes. Death means a suspension of the will for a few months. That's all. If you train your willing process improperly, you have to suffer life after life. But if you train it properly, you can go to Vaikuntha immediately after death.
So I was also reading today related to this. Prabhupada was explaining in a purport how we should use thinking, feeling, and willing properly. He said there is two cases to use thinking, feeling, willing, and he says in a purport we should use it properly. So here also the same point comes that the willing process is the important one of those three.
Yes.
See, if one is ready, if one is ready to will for something wrong, then he's already creating the new body by that willing.
Yes. Yes. And actually use the word train.
Yes, Prabhu.
So this is a training process, So we can see that our sadhana is very important because this is a training. From the very beginning, we start to have this training, yes, if you train it properly, you can go to Vaikuntha.
Yes, Prabhu.
So we are training to go to Vaikuntha now. I agree with us concerning religious practices. Schopenhauer writes that the Christian mystic and teacher of Vedanta agree that all outward works and religious exercise are superfluous for him who has attained to perfection. But doesn't Krishna recommend just the opposite? Yes, in Bhagavad Gita he said, Yagyadana tapa karma nachajam karyameva tat Yagyudanam tapaschaiva bhava nani manishinam. Acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance are not to be given up, but should be performed. Indeed, sacrifice, charity, and penance purified even the great souls. Bhagavad Gita 18.5. If we give up the ritualistic ceremonies, there is every chance that we will fall down. Even though we may be liberated, we shall continue performing sacrifice, charity, and penance in order to keep our position secure. I agree with us. In discussing the function of the brain, Schopenhauer notes that the need for sleep is directly proportionate to the intensity of our mental activities. Dull creatures like reptiles and fish sleep little and lightly. The more intelligent animals sleep deeply and long, the more completely awake man is. He writes, the clearer and more lively is consciousness, the greater for him is the necessity of sleep, and thus the deeper and longer he sleeps. Srila Prabhupada. No, those who are in ignorant, materially covered, sleep more, and those who are spiritually enlightened sleep less. Sleep is a necessity of the body, not of the soul. Therefore, those who are spiritually advanced do not require a lot of sleep. Nidra hala vihalakadi vijito. We understand that Rupa Goswami conquers sleeping, eating, and mating. When we are spiritually engaged, we consider sleep a waste of time. Those who are interested in spiritual life adjust their life in such a way that their sleep is practically nil. Arjun was addressed as Gudakesha, one who has conquered sleep. Ayagrivadas, Schopenhauer recommends about 8 hours of sleep a night. How many are recommended in the Vedic tradition? Srila Prabhupada, sleep should be avoided, but since that is not possible, it should be adjusted to the minimum. The Goswami did not sleep more than 2 hours daily. Even some karmis are so absorbed in their work that they practically don't sleep at all. It is said that Napoleon slept while riding his horse. Well, how can he do that? And Gandhi slept while riding a car. Generally, 6 hours is sufficient. Yes. I agree with others. In the ages of life, Schopenhauer writes, a complete and adequate notion of life can never be attained by anyone who does not reach old age, for it is only the old man who sees life whole and knows its natural course. He alone has a full sense of its utter vanity, whereas others never cease to labor under the false notion that everything will come out right in the end. Srila Prabhupada, this may seem to be the case, but in Western countries, we observe all men still following the path of sense gratification. So what is the use of their experience? Unless one receives training, it is not sufficient to become an old man. In order to understand the purpose of life, training is required from early childhood. According to the Vedic plan, an old man should take the renounced order of sannyasa and completely devote his time and energy to understanding and serving God. We do not become spiritually mature just by growing old. We should be trained from the very beginning as brahmachari.
Mm. Yet,
Yes.
weird idea that by growing old, one becomes spiritually advanced.
Yes, it's not the case, But we can have some, how to say, perception can change. Like I grow old, so death is near.
Yes, Prabhu.
So I should, think. We should think differently. Now I am more near death than you, my young age. So uh, the thinking process is not the same.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes.
I'd
So
like to show this one.
at least,
Oh, yes, Prabhu.
mm,
Please continue.
I think at least there is this, uh, you know, this perception that will change. That yes, I grow old, so I should think about it because I was preaching to some old man, and he said, yes, what you said to me is very interesting because now I can uh, I can ask myself this question because I'm old and I know that I will face death very soon. So you see, like Prabhupada said, uh, when don't wait till we grow old to become serious in Krishna consciousness. Because when we grow old, this is more difficult for us to practice Bhakti Yoga.
Yes, Prabhu. It's very difficult.
Yes.
So this was the purport about this thinking, feeling, and willing that I found. In this verse, the word Vedishad indicates King Prachina Barhi. When a man becomes refreshed by association with devotees and awakes to Krishna consciousness, he consults the activities of his mind, namely thinking, feeling, and willing, and decides whatever he should return to his material activities or stay steady in spiritual consciousness. So when one comes in contact with devotees, then the living entity automatically consults the thinking, feeling, and willing, and then he's speculating with those that should I become a devotee or should I go back to the material activity? The word kushalam refers to which is auspicious. One can make his home perfectly auspicious when he engages in devotional service to Lord Vishnu. When one is engaged in activities other than Vishnu Bhakti, or in other words, when one is engaged in material activities, he is always filled with anxieties. A sane man should consult his mind, its thinking, feeling, and willing process, and decide how these processes should be utilized. See, one should analyze his own thinking, feeling, and willing process and see what is going on there, what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, and what I'm willing. And then he should decide how those three things should be utilized. If one always thinks of Krishna, feels how to serve him, and wills to execute the order of Krishna. So this is how to use this thinking, feeling, and willing process in Krishna consciousness. One has to think of Krishna, feel how to serve him, and then execute the order. Willing to execute the order. That's the last stage. It should be known that he has taken good instruction from his intelligence if he does like this, which is called the although the
actually is the same as serving the spiritual master.
Yes, sir. Although the king was refreshed, he nonetheless inquired about his wife. Thus he was consulting, thinking, and willing how he could return to his steady good consciousness. The mind may suggest that by Vishaya Bhoga or sense enjoyment one can become happy. But when one becomes advanced in Krishna consciousness, he does not derive happiness from material activities. Yeah, so the mind may suggest many times, but when one becomes experienced, he remembers that, oh, I cannot gain any happiness from that. Then automatically, when you know that you cannot gain happiness from something, you won't fall for that so many times. And then there
so
is
it is recommended sometimes to fall down, actually, so that you can learn.
Yes, Prabhu. But this
experience.
is not, yes, Prabhu. But this is not like willing process of falling down. It happens anyway. It like automatic, even without.
Yes.
Those
true,
are
it's true.
always to teach us. If we didn't have any problems, we wouldn't advance.
Yes.
Welcome, teacher. Hare Krishna, ISKM teacher. Please accept my humble obeisances. All God. Is it Manudas or Shyam Govinda? Soon we're gonna.
I think, yes, we will know soon.
You'll get transcendental revelation. Yes, so we should consult the thinking, feeling, and willing in how we could return in steady good consciousness, and not something else. It's usually different sense gratification, especially thinking. That is active all the time. One is always thinking, and when one feels a little bit that something is, then he goes to feeling, and that's already dangerous when one is at the feeling stage. For example, he might think that for some girl, and then he starts to feel how it in his mind how it would be to be with that girl, and then it's already too far. One needs to use this feeling properly.
I also learned from Nimai Nadu. Sorry, Prabhu, you can speak.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, you can continue.
Yes, I was saying I was watching this Nimai Prabhu's lecture, and he said one should not focus on sense objects,
Yes,
because if you as soon as we started thinking about sense objects, contamination comes and then we fall down.
yes, Prabhu.
Mm.
It's 4:22:30.
Yeah.
When one's mind and senses are attracted to sense objects for enjoyment, the mind becomes agitated. As a result of continually thinking of sense objects, one's real consciousness almost becomes lost, like the water in lake that is gradually sucked up by the big grass troughs on its bank. Yes, Prabhu. So if we think all these material objects, sense objects, then gradually the intelligence goes lower until we come to this point that we're willing. Then when the intelligence is completely gone, then I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do it. Then it's already gone. And then when we get to that process, then we can only learn by suffering. When we already have will to do something, then we will have to get the reaction, and by that reaction we have to learn. If we're not intelligent enough to learn the thing without getting the suffering, so then we have to go through the suffering path. That's the second option. Okay, let's read 10 minutes more.
Others can read? Yes.
Yes, Prabhu.
Others can read. Yes, thank you very much.
There is only one page left, so let's finish this page. Who wants to read the last page?
I can read.
Yes, Prabhu.
Oh, okay. How should I go?
Yes, Prabhu, you can read.
Okay, am I audible?
Yes, Prabhu, it's good.
Okay. Schopenhauer points out that it is customary to call youth the happy part of life and old age the sad part. But factually, this is not the case. This would be true if it were the passions that made a man happy. He writes, but a man feels happy just insofar as his intellect is the predominating part of him. For modern civilization, happiness means sense gratification. Desire for sense gratification continues even when one is an old man. Therefore, early training is required. It is said that one can become an old man even without advancing in age. This means that it is knowledge that is important, not age. If one is not educated properly, he becomes an old fool. Phew. Can I take a screenshot of that? Yes. Okay, Schopenhauer notes that in the Upanishads, the natural human lifespan is set at 100 years. To come to one's end before the age of 90 means to die of disease. He writes, in other words, prematurely. Yes, this millennium, the maximum age is 100 years, but in former millennia, men used to live for 1,000 years. In the Treta Yoga, the lifespan was 10,000 years, and in the Satya Yoga, it was 100,000 years. Presently in Kali Yoga, life has become so degraded that people expect to live only about 70 years as one becomes more sensuous. His lifespan decreases. That is the law of nature. And we were discussing about this, I think, yesterday.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes. Okay, you can go down now.
Thank you so much for reading. That's the end.
Oh, it's done.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, I took some notes. Let's see if I have it. No, nothing with the word old. That's weird. Can it be? There is some verse, I think, related to this. That when one becomes old, still his senses are active.
There's a part that the old fools, if one is not educated
Yes, Prabhu.
properly, he becomes an old fool. And I've witnessed it, hey?
Just yesterday I took the note. How is it not there? I want to find it.
So, Prabhu, the next book, which one will you be reading?
Prabhu, your microphone is doing some weird thing.
Okay, let me do this.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, Prabhu. Now it's normal.
Oh, yeah. I was just asking, which book are you going to read after?
I think Krishna book maybe.
Okay, okay. Like which one? On the Way, or which one by Prabhupada? There's On the Way to Krishna.
Only
I think.
Krishna book. Its name is Krishna book.
Okay, okay.
Oh, here in this purport. Hmm. One second. Yes, this was about brahmacharya. This is nice verse when someone wants to go directly to the grihastha life. He doesn't even think about trying temple life for 1 year. He just says, I want to get married. Prabhu, can you tell me where I can get a nice Mataji, devotee wife? Sometimes these persons join I've seen like 5-6 times a person joins and immediately his first question or tendency is how in nice camp the marriage is done. How can I get a wife right now? Always thinking, oh, you need to train yourself first. But here it is said that a living entity is never satisfied with a woman unless he is trained in the system of brahmacharya. Generally, man's tendency is to enjoy many women, and even at the very end of his life, the sex impulse is so strong that even though one is very old, he still wants to enjoy the company of young girls. Thus, because of the strong sex impulse, the living entity becomes more and more involved in this material world. Even when and I see this because when I see the old man now, I understand that they are actually young men, but they just have the costume of old man. Inside his mind, he's the same young man as I am or anyone else was. When I'm thinking this, I realize more that it's horrible position. You're a young man inside an old man's body, and you gotta do old man's things, and you still want to enjoy the girls like you did when you were young. So it's really, frustrating position. And when you go
Yeah.
anywhere as the old man's body, everyone will look at you, oh, creepy man. If you even look at young girls, they're gonna see you from a mile away and go, oh, this is some creepy guy. Don't go near to him. Their life becomes so horrible, and they still have the lusty desires, but they cannot do anything about it. So old age is really hard.
Yeah, I know a couple of old men like this.
I was 3 days ago on a beach. I was sitting there when I was passing, and then I saw a really old man, like maybe 90 something years old, and he could barely walk. His back was so like I've never seen someone's back like that. It was so like hunchbacked. It was so disformed, and he barely could walk. And he had a like rollator. You have two hands and you push it like this forward. He moved so slowly, and there were some girls, and he was like slowly walking towards them, going really close, and then he was looking like this. I was thinking, oh, in his mind he wants to enjoy all this, but he's in this position, and everyone was looking at him like in a degrading way, like, what are you doing here, you old man? This is young people's place. What are you doing? I felt so bad for the old man, that, oh, what a position. He's still struggling, like he struggled so much to walk here, to just have a maybe final look of this young woman. He just walked so, and I was seeing how he's struggling to walk. I was thinking, how can he even walk back? I was scared maybe he will die on this beach. And I was thinking, oh, this is how you create the woman body. And then I know that also my position could be the same because I'm going towards the old age all the time, every day. And as you get older, the time goes quicker. When I was young, I was counting time that, when that I wish time could go faster. I was always thinking that time goes really slow. But now when I'm not old yet. I'm still young, but
Yeah.
just 10 years more than that. And
You
now
never know.
1 year feels like months,
Actually,
you know?
yeah. Actually, I have a very nice analogy about this. I learned it from some devotee who is not a part of ISKM. So he asked, he asked the old people generally that, you tell me, how did your last 5 years went? And all of them says they went in a moment.
Yes, bro.
See, we can also see just like I always think I'm like in COVID right now, but so it's like 4 years ago.
Yes, Prabhu.
So yeah, so he said, if you live 100 years, that means in 20 moments your life is gone. So
Yes.
you should really use it for, don't waste it and use it for Krishna consciousness.
Yes, Prabhu. Most work we gotta
Yeah.
do when we are young, actually, because old man cannot do so much anymore. His most struggle will be how to chant his rounds. Also, King Kulashekar, he was saying that, oh, when I'm old, my voice will be choked up and all this. I cannot chant. So that's what usually is the scariest thing about old age. Even chanting will be a big struggle. Now we think it's easy. You wake up and yes, Prabhu. But also it's inspiring to see when I see Sundar Gopal Prabhu doing these things. I see that, oh, the old age is not affecting at all. He's like any one of us, the 20-year-olds. He travels more. Then I'm seeing, oh, this Krishna consciousness is really powerful.
Yeah, because
Yes,
of that
this is
work,
because
we went as long as we read the Prabhupada books, sun cannot take our life.
Yes, Prabhu.
this is because training. If he wasn't training, he didn't. He will not get this spiritual strength, So this is training, the sadhana that he performed all his life.
Yes, Prabhu.
Now he has a lot of spiritual strength. So when we perform well our sadhana during our life, we will get some spiritual strength at the end.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes,
So this is important,
Yes, Prabhu. So whatever we do in the young age, that will be we are building now for the old age, the consciousness that
yes, there is a verse in chapter 18 that says, what is poison now will become nectar in the future.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes.
That's to this.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it describes happiness for, in Sattva Guna, because at first it is very hard.
Yes,
And then we later have that.
Yes, Prabhu.
So I think that His Grace Sundar Gopal Prabhu is experiencing the nectar.
Yes, Prabhu. Okay, now let's go to Six Astakam prayers. Next, we will go to evolutionary naturalism. This is all.
This will be fun.
Yes, Prabhu. We just start with Darwin. But he had many friends also that came after him that modified a little bit the Darwin's. Henry. This Finnish name, the Henry. It's funny. Oh, the Henry chapter is really long. Samuel Alexander. I've never heard about this. But most of the modern people, they follow these persons' philosophies and they don't even know who these were. And most of the modern philosophies that they are following in schools and everywhere, they are made by these persons.
Yes, Prabhu.
but no one knows who they are. They just know Darwin.
Yeah, this is ignorance, Tamagun.
Same is with the
Yeah,
church.
this Nietzsche is also a rascal number one. Yeah, this
Yes,
Nietzsche.
Prabhu.
Yeah.
Same is in the church. That's because in the church Jesus taught something, and then there was the Aquinas and Augustine who came, and they made completely different philosophy. And now all the Christians think that their Jesus is the Augustine and Aquinas. They're following their philosophy. It's not Jesus Christ philosophy, but they don't know even who
Oh.
the two guys are.
Yeah, I also watched the video where it is said that Bible was rewritten a couple of times, so many of the Jesus Christ teaching may be lost.
Yes, Prabhu. Especially these Catholic Christians, they made so many changes, because at one time you could give money and buy a ticket that you could become sinless, and it was like this, and they kept changing the philosophy that what happens after life. They were saying that there is eternal fire at one point, and they were saying if you pay to the church certain amount of money, you can get away from this fire.
Yeah.
They kept
Yeah,
changing
I've seen
philosophy
this
so
meme.
many times.
Yeah, I've seen this meme. But donate money to the church, don't go to hell.
Yes, Prem.
For
But it is true
Christian,
for Krishna consciousness.
for Christian, the
No.
guru is
Yes.
Jesus,
Yes, Prem.
but his disciple, the disciple of Jesus, is Shiksha Guru, right?
Yes, Prem. But these philosophers were like the false disciples that came to hijack Jesus. They took Jesus' name and put their own philosophy and said, "Oh, here's Jesus."
Yes.
Here's... ISKCON did the same thing a little bit.
Mm.
They took Prabhupada's philosophy but put themselves in front, and then they.
Yes, this is the same actually. This is the same thing,
Yes,
and they are, give some very bad impression of the philosophy now.
yes, Prabhu.
Mm.
Okay, let's read 6 prayers. चेतोदर्पणमार्जनं भवमहातावाग्निर्वापनं श्रेयः कैरवचन्द्रिका वितरणं विद्यावाधूजीवनम् आनन्दाम्बुरिवर्धनं प्रतिपदां पूर्णामृतस्वादनं सर्वात्मा स्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्णसङ्कीर्तनम्
नामकारी बहुधा निज सर्वशक्ते तत्रार्पिता नियमित स्मरण काल एतत् ऋषितौ कृपा भगवान् ममापि दुर्दैवं कीदृशम् इह ज्ञाने नानुग्रह
Krena sunishena taro api sahesnuna amanina manadena kritanya sadahari.
Haribo.
न सुंदरम कवितां वागुच्चरीशकामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भगवद्भक्तिरहि कुति भगवद्भक्तिरहि चुकित्वयि
ऐनन्दतनुज किङ्कलं पचितं मां विषमे भवम्बुतो कृपया तव पदपङ्कजश्चितधूलिसदृशं विचिन्तय
नयनं कलदश्रुतारया वदनं गद्गदहृदया गिरा पुलकर्निचितं वपु कदा तव नाम गृहणे भविष्यति
गायितं निमेषेण चक्षुषा प्राविशायितं शून्यायितं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्दं गृहेण मे
Last one.
अस्तुष्यवा भारतं चुमां दृष्णान् प्रमातं करोतु वा यथा तथा वा विदधातु लम्पटो मत्प्राणनाथस्तु स एव न परः
Haribo, glories to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This is the what? This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious.
Wow. Yeah, your surpass.
Oh my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to the living being. And thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. Oh my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy name. But I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them.
One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a free devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly.
Haribo.
Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any not do can you just remove this? I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth.
Haribo. O son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. Haribo. I'm learning it.
Repeat, Prabhu. Oh my Lord, can my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up? And when will the heads of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name?
Oh Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence.
Yes, this is the mood of the gopis.
Yes, Prabhu.
Vipralam Baba.
Yes, Prabhu. I forgot what the significance of 12 years was. That's why Prabhu explained it in the.
Yeah, I think this is the mood of Radharani.
Is it because here 12 years means one yuga? Okay, last one. I know no one but I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so, even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is always free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord unconditionally.
Rebu.
Haribo, Sri Siksastakam Ki Jai. 10 offenses. First offense is to blaspheme the devotees who are dedicated their lives to propagating the holy name. Second offense.
To consider names of demigods like Shiva and Brahma to be equal or independent of the names of Lord Vishnu.
Haribo. Three.
To disobey the orders of the master and considering him as an ordinary person.
Yes, Prabhu. Haribo. Fourth one is to blaspheme. Is it literature?
Yes, Prabhu.
To consider
Blaspheme the Vedic
scriptures.
Vedic
Mm.
scriptures in
Yeah, where I got the literature's word, I don't know. It's scripture.
You can say Vedic literature. You can say like this.
Yes, Prabhu. Okay, 5. This I forgot.
to consider, like to consider.
I
To
saw
consider.
the glories.
Yeah.
To consider the glories of chanting to be no
That's one only.
imagination. Yeah. Next one.
To give some mundane interpretation to the holy name of God.
To give some interpretations to the holy name of the Lord. Okay, seventh one is sinful activity, friend of the holy name. 8-1.
To consider chanting of Krishna to be an auspicious ritual.
Yes, Prabhu, of course, the Karma Kanda one. Consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities. 9th one is to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. 10th one, to maintain, no, to not have complete faith.
Complete faith on the and not a complete faith in the chanting of Hare Krishna, holy name, and to maintain material attachment one after attack, even after understanding so many emotions on this matter. It is also preferred. Every devotee to Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to pursue the desired success Krishna Prema. One,
Panchakalpatarubhyascha
Vanchakalpatarubhascha Kripasindhudeva Chapatstanam Pavadibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha.
पंचतत्व की जाय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य महाप्रभु की जाय नित्यानंद प्रभु की जाय शिला प्रभु की जाय निताय गौर प्रेमानंद हरि हरि बोल
Hari Hari Bol.